Sorry? Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome to another stream of this game. We are back again with the Ace Attorneys, and today we're going to finish the fourth case. I don't actually think we will. I think there's a little bit more, but we'll get through it as goodly as we possibly can. So all I can say right now is just sorry. Sorry. The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Yeah, we learned that Gregson, our buddy Gregson, is dead. Poor guy. And hey, Zerman, good to see ya. What's up? I hope you're doing well today. Hope all is good. Give me a second, guys. Gotta get my Twitch app working. But yeah, how you doing today, Zerman? It's good to see ya. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. Hey, Froggy Man's first. How you doing? Welcome, Froggy Man. Froggy Man is first. Zerman's actually first, but Froggy Man's first. What's up? Very good. So, Mr. Di Russo and Mr. Di Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. It's 4 a.m. right now. Oh my gosh. What are you doing up at this time? You crazy Froggy Man boy, yeah. But yeah, it's good to see ya. I hope you're doing well. Give me a second, guys. I have a drink with me real quick. Hey, Bleachman. Today's your Discord, or your second last exam. It's Erdis exam today. I wish you luck, Bleachfan. Good stuff. I hope you do well. You will do well. I believe in ya. Keep on studying and all that stuff. And just do well on it, alrighty? And thank you for stopping by. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Aye, capo? Non, I don't remember him, obviously. He is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. And Captain Chips is here. What's up? How you doing? You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oi, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. Did he just do a Mario jump? I think he just did. You're gonna go to sleep. Good night then. See you tomorrow or the next day or whenever you come in next. Thanks for stopping by. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Oof, nah, with this attitude, we get to nowhere, He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Aye, yes, my lord. All's good with you today, Captain? All's good and stuff? We had more than 1,000 people ready to... 1,000 people? That's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Red-heads had come from all over the capital. Bleach fan, keep it English if that's alright. I don't know what that language is, but we do the Englishes here. Bleaching, are you practicing? But English only. Yeah. Practice, on a sheet of paper. It was quite a spectacle. Redheads. See, the capo here, he is the magnetismo animal, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. It's Urdu? I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Keep it to a pen and paper, alright? Or pencil and paper. It's for the best, my friend. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. The £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oi, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names, and we take their money, and we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post, if finito, maybe 2 minutes a person. We start early in the morning, and we stop late in the night. So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. Who would have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? That's racist? One of whom was a Greek detective with chemically altered hair. I forgot, guys. Are redheads a race? I think they are, right? But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo? Hold it! He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick another the people. Says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, signor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. Recent development on Twitter is to believe redheads are black. Interesting. Completely untrue, by the way, you weirdos on Twitter, but very interesting. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the count a definite, it seems. Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? No, I don't remember him, and obviously he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Hold it! But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oi, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can actually remember every single face. How are you so certain, or you can't remember, that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is a very distinctive, aye? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we cannot remember him. We are sure of that fact, If there was a man with a red earpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Kazuma said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd have been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one more other detail about the victim? For example... obviously this. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti. Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Si, Capo, si. I say it again and again. Here in London, fish and chips are actually hilariously common, but yeah, it's actually his profession. I know. I just wanted to give a tribute to the man's amazing fish and chips. Hold it! Because we'll never see it again. Poor Greggy. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair would not be remembered in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? Was the man in the photograph a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Wait a minute.
Excuse me!
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Che? Si, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? Why is the problem? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord! Order, order, order! Explain the volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was... There was no such man. Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me. You beat me at the many things, but not at two, the memory and the meals. Like I said, when it is time to eat la pasta, no one is the faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection!
You're not superior in the short factor. Erg. Trap tard, the damage is done. Ah. Indeed it is, sir. Oi, there was a man who came to the park, and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever, then? Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. And then he slipped his mustache back on. See, the capo here, he doesn't take a no nonsense, eh?
But...
He was well prepared. He said he had identifications. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true nature? Clearly, the papers were fake. Sir Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico, and look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. But I like them. Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. Let's see. Let's open this up, eh? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Where's this picture? Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just some plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me, but how? And his department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes, I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? What if Gregson is still alive somewhere then, and some fake was killed instead? Could happen. Alora, this victim is nothing to do with us. Hold it! But we only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. Uffa, we are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, and then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Aye, Capo? No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Aye, Capo? You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. What do you mean by that? Cavallo, you promised not to say, eh, Capo? After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkerque to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. See, but 'tis an easy mistake to make, the 31st. Both. I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity, and it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? That this is the work of God. It is a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time, this is not holy punishment. This is only your fault. Ah! Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it is time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. And I've seen the evidence. Alright, I'm gonna need the help, as usual, guys. I'm gonna need a helper. They haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet, these two both claim that he didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. No, it sounds plausible in their speciality. They may be lying to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Actually, if they were true experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Well, yes, you do have a point there. Seems to me like we need more information. Definitely! Captain Chips, can you tell me which thing we're supposed to present evidence to? I have no idea whatsoever. Have we examined the ID? Yep. Yes, we have. Examined ID has been examined. Not a good start. Ultima's already confused. Statement 3 or 4 present it at either. Now, how is it statement 3 or 4, though? Objection! Okay. Yay! I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Consul? Is this really fake, or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves. Objection! Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. See, I forgot she was even there. That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zootalours! He fell down. Order, order! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Hi, what are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. No! Order, order, order! The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? Well, I know nothing. Well, I done nothing. Well. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, none? Well, now I wish I had a return to Italian. Well. So, stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Loom, stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerable greater detail. I know nothing. I done nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. Well, for crying out loud. For crying out loud, these two are crying out loud. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him here for the night in our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did have him no arm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room, and was a nothing like prison, really. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man? But no, it was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Aye, Capo? It was never part of my plan, I swear it. Oofa, so you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date for the ferry wrong by a little day? I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Por favor, Capo. It's not fair. You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof, I don't believe this. How could he have been the real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson was spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Okay. Says the truth, we took him prisoner and kept him here for the night. Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen, and I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was the first time for the Capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, that was not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the Capo here. An impulsive idea, I would say. No, not impulsive, inspired. Aye, Capo? What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino? And it was in the house described that you can find Inspector Gregson, was it? Oi. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real detective inspector. That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? None, you are right, but we couldn't be completely certain. I think they're in trouble, guys, for kidnapping someone. and confining him, even though I didn't think he was the real detective. Oops. Oopsie.
Hold it!
Too scared. Why? Because why Eddie come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle at us. Even if it was just a feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, without a doubt. I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Aye, Capo? The point is, we are not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I've forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, it said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude, I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that was when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say? See, we did. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next 2 hours. That being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one. What made you believe that it was a forgery? I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking he must be falso. Aye, Capo? Oi, it is just as Peppino said. We were convinced it was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside the locker room. Then we made preparations to transport all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound. Pay that man his money. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle, exactly? Boff, it was nothing, just a minor incident. The Falso Inspector, he was a real piece of the work. Aye, Capo? What happened? Uffa, it was a disaster. We give him a nicer room. What does he do then? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, bien sir. All we did, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shot the man in your haste, did you? Or shoot the man? Zoot, who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room. What?
Excuse me!
Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong? Aye, me? Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavolo, at times like that, you don't want to have a capo after you, believe me. And I speak from the personal esperanza. Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we went to put the Red-Headed League plan into action, I was scared. I was not afraid into the capo, but I tried to run away. And it's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, and then he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it. Aye, capo? Bruises, you say? You wanna see? You want to see my fantastical bruises? That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What to do, huh? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't. You do, now. Allora, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? It's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo sometimes he is a very rough. I says that's enough. Albino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes, what is your opinion, Counsel? About this red ring around Mr. DeRossi's neck. I wonder, does it matter? It always matters. Always. Mr. DeRossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Aye, Capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I have to say, huh? Very well. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRossi. See if you really wanted to know. Have I seen a red ring somewhere, guys? Somewhere else? A collar. Can I look at the evidence real quick? No, not you. No. Could have sworn I saw someone with another red ring around them. Somewhere, but I don't remember where. Hold it! Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a big collar made from the leather. A leather collar? Is this true, Mr. DeRusso? What? We had a St. Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time. It was a very strong chain. A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck? I'm sorry. I was so angry that he was leaving me he wasn't leaving me alone. He was leaving me alone. Don't have to tie the chain to a leg of the bed, though, huh? I would have not tried it to run again. You didn't want to do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people equally is the Capo's here motto, eh? It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden. The Capo here is a tough, but the Capo is a rough. I should have done it. So, the following morning, when you released the inspector, he had a red thing around his neck, just like me. Rapino, Silvos plate. Leave it now. Now you know, huh? The Capo here, you don't want to tingle with him, eh? Hey, Stars! How you doing today? It's good to see ya. Now you know, the Capo, you don't want to tingle with him, but for the inspector is not so bad. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really. Oh, yeah! Hold it! What do you walk in on? Lots of talk about collars and being choked to death or something. Lots of shenanigans. As usual with these games, right? You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound if you are still holding him prisoner. Here, you guys read this. I'm gonna get a drink again. Water bottle. Well... I've heard him snoring. Madai. If anyone was disturbed, it was us. Not much to go on, really. Yeah, exactly. Nothing to go on. But yeah, I'm doing good today, Stars. All was good. If you want a bit of direction, your next point is the new statement. I had a feeling it was the new statement. I have no idea what, which thing, though. Implying he would still have been able to wind his watch. It's very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads? In which case, it's possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's... To be honest, I find that hard to believe. We should try to find out exactly what happened. Wise Naruto? Yes! Susato, did you just burp right there? Alright, Captain. Is the answer the evidence in the first, the second, or the third? Narrow it down. It could be anything for all we know. You'd use the restroom, second page on the right. One of these. Alright, time to submit. Maybe the picture.
Objection!
Okay, thank goodness. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only... However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would like the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. Inspector Gregson. You will see that there's no red ring visible around his neck. Yeah, I couldn't even see that. Your cat's purring. Aww. That means your cat is happy. Your cat is happy to be watching the stream. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning, and I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, you'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, this is most peculiar. But what do we tell you then, We say this from the beginning, many times. Oi, Peppino is right. The man is in the photograph. He is someone different to the man we held captives that night. Order! It would appear, then, that on the day before the incident, a man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
Gasp! I know, right? He does like my stream. Yay! Thank goodness. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were a real Inspector Gregson, whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo, because these are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie, even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment... let's save just in case. Is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious! Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. Rossi? Oh, I wish that Captain Chips was here. Facts don't lie, and neither do the hips. Hips don't lie either. Imposter? No idea. Literally no idea. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been the Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, So the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street, found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's alright, we tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with a dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, eh? So who was that falso inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man and these two in prison that night. I must ask the counsel for defense to elaborate post haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? Alright, did anyone have a thing? No idea, guys. No freaking idea. Oh, man. It can't be these two, right? They wouldn't kidnap themselves. So, we'll just go down the list.
Take that!
It's surely no secret. This is the identity of the imposter. Oh, really? On what grounds? Well, I said it was no secret, but I bet that part is. Dear me, if even ever a penalty was in order, it's now I feel. Like the punishment, the capo led you to his collar if you want. Perhaps my learned friend needs to experience what it feels like to be dragged around the streets by the neck. I'll use my imagination, thanks. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the red ring produced by the collar is clearly the crux of the matter here. Yes, the bruising around the neck.
Take that! Take that!
Okay. I don't think he had a ring around him. I looked it up to see. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you.
Objection!
Okay, a peddler plying his trade on Fenzo, make his money selling interesting items. It doesn't mention his red ring thing. It's not fair. Is this expecting me to... was it mentioned last time? I don't know. Hey, Ultima, why are you skipping so much? Because I screwed up. But how you doing, Manim? What's up? Hope you're doing good. Goodness me, isn't that... one of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling heresy to passerby.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? Ah! See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such rash claims next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck, a red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip is to be brought back to the stand. Didn't even see the red ring. Back. Hey, Captain Chips. You picked a bad time to go to the bathroom. There were multiple, confusing questions. But you're back now, it's all good. We're all good here. Order, bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately. You could have held it for 2.5 hours. You could have. Like, come on. What kind of pansy? I mean, it's all good. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him. Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? A birthmark, you say? You spend any amount of time with food poisoning, you'll understand what you mean when you say you can't trust a fart. Yeah, but, like, it's me, though. You can hold it in for me. Welcome to Ultima is the most egotistical prook in the world stream, where Ultima shows how egotistical and jerkish he is. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, but welcome back. Something about an inspector again, but I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual. In medieval times, a fart was a meatball. A fart was a meatball. Interesting, that is. You're denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We are in a big trouble, eh, Capo? That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Is right. See, you think we would have forget those grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, all right. I'm no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, There was no point for this pointless testimony. That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. You know who it is? What is? Is it the butler? The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the no reason is obvious, non? Because I have never before seen lips like this. Hey, Krusty, what's up? It's the guy they kidnapped. Yeah, maybe. They're saying that they don't recognize him, but we'll see, huh? But what's up, Krusty? It's good to see ya. Now, nevertheless, there is a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck, and it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prize collar. Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you're trying to wring my neck. It does look very much like my neck, though, eh? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck for to die for. Aye, they broke the mold when they made me. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before. Oi, says Ska, I swear to it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? Is right, see, you think we would forget these grand lips, eh?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I am saying. For some reason it makes me want to eat, how did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know. I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it's a national trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have other grand lips. No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left. This is the one problem, see? So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip. Now, how many times do I want me to say it, eh? Never leave Fresh Nose Street, alright? I've got no interest in any Red-Headed League.
Hold it!
So, you've heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing. It's my business to know what's going on off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair has not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresh Nose Street's my patch. You won't catch me settling off to some other part of town. No, sir. Not likely.
Excuse me!
Mr. DeRusso. Oi, can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip with the housing agent? Oi, he had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresh Nose Street, me. Like I said before, you've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the captain was right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the bake notes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty but clothes had so much money. I looked at the name in the papers. And what name was written? Mr. Gossip. No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact his name is Hugh Boone, is better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? No! Okay, who was Hugh Boone again? I heard that name already. Who was that? I forgot. I'm a peddler of tidbits and information, and like I said, on Fresh Nose Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed, and it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned names shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious, do you similarly object, Professor Asogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never. In what capacity? Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Now, what's a leaseholder, guys? I've heard the word leasing before, but I don't know what it means. Let me put it very simply. I don't know if me knowing this has anything to do with solving the case, but yeah. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. Renting? Alright. Why is it called leasing then? Why are there so many words that mean the same thing in this world, huh? Leasing is just a contracted rental with specific terms. Why can't it just be called renting, though? Why are we like this as a species? No more weird words, game, and life. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. Suppose that might be the case. So your real name is Hugh Boone. Well, just between us, I don't like to blow me own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbit in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Aye, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. Aye, if either one of us is a vulgar, it's not to me. Sink again, Peppino. Sink me. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tippet peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. Retail specify that is possession. Rentals specify that it's possession for a specific amount of time. Leasing is a fixed period of time. Oh my gosh, now we're getting even more technical and confusing terms. What do you mean, what's a fixed period? Like, how do you fix periods? Usually 6 months to a year. Ugh. So rentals can't be 6 months to a year? Rentals are below 6 months and leases above 6 months? I rent the room where the fellow was found, it's true. For what difference does it make? With the hammer and nails, pretty much, yeah. Maybe I should just make up my own language, just to spite everyone else, confusing me with these messed up, confusing words.
Hold it!
So, you have to live in that room presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk. Then, why would you want to rent it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. And how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to. No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry the enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room? Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Boone would rather as little as knowledge is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. And in particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've got no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that?
Hold it!
You mean that you have no family? No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tippets to passerby. Hoping, just between us, that is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so. You may be right. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip. Ugh, please don't. It looks like I'm not gonna get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Hold it!
Maybe you could. Say, with a mustache or a beard to cover up that lip. Aye, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I? Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable, and I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my directions, counsel. Sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me in there. Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course. You're right, he did. So, perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb in a mustache of that size. And anyways, the detective we spoke of had no facial hair at all. No, see, the capo was alright. He was a clean shaven. Oh, please stop flicking your lip. I hate it when he does it. It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Aye, it does and it is. Oh, yep, no idea again, guys. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, what Mr. Boone said is undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise. Perhaps yes, but nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable. And it's identical to the one that Mr. De Rossi suffered. Yes, that's true. Why does this whole disguise thing just keep playing on my mind? I'm gonna guess either this one, or this one. So what's the right one, Captain Chips? Which statement do we do the evidence on? I just wish I knew what we were trying to prove, you know? 4, and which page has the right answer? Lots of pressing evidence on 4. Huh? I don't know what that means. You're proving he has family. What would he prove that he has family? Yeah, which page? Which page? Fun, 2, or 3? It would help if it was 3, because we'd have 2 choices. But something tells me, what did you find in the room? That was 2 days ago. My memory of that is gone. It is gone. First page. This, maybe? Evie? Gonna save the game real quick.
Objection!
Okay, thank God. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room. Ah, I presume as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave me alone. Leave it alone. As the man says. Leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise can ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself a part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face. Who would make an utterly impenetrable disguise? Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Arg! I feel like they're imitating Smart Alec. Dang it, Bang's desk. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Whatever it is, I bet they are. Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No, please, no. Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler that goes simply by the name of Gossip on the Street? Alright. Oh, another streamer? Oh, gotcha. Alright. First page, second page. Oh, there he is. This one?
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. Yag! I don't recall that name, Counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's the name I encountered yesterday, my lord, and it has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, this is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, they haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on the night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Daily Vigil, as in to keep watch daily. Yep. And Evie Vigil. Evening vigilance or something, right? Because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been able to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you on the Vigil residence. Now just hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about? Really? Evening Vigil? Yep. It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a washbowl at once. Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain the witness. Oi, my lord. See, my lord. Huh? Wag! No, stop! Get off! Don't! How was Soap gonna remove a lip? Is he wearing a mask or something? Oh. Yes, he was. That was a fake lips. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Quick change. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So witnesses, tell the court. Have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw at the park. Extraordinary. He changed fast, I know. Quick change. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. DeRousseau and Mr. DeRossi in the park was you, disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why would you quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison? What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Freshnose Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? Where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. Alright. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment at Barclay Chief Warders came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage, but times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation, one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this, since she still maintains that you are the chief warder at the Barclay prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account on the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street, the scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squad-lid and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about the town before returning home, then quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true, to have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and began my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my friend, and from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orgzees tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. A Scotland Yard inspector would willingly relinquish his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector had warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. Never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Well... It would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two Red-Headed League men when they impersonated the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And mercy, Monsieur de la Defense, for proving it. What? Arrgh! Order, order, order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven somewhat ironically by the defense. Ugh. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination. Objection?
Hold it!
Or hold it. Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the evidence of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at the very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago, the execution of the Professor Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Twitch is being annoying? Oh no. Come on, Stars' internet, let her watch stream properly, please. Are you good now, Stars? Are you here? Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Visual's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments, his own father. I know, I do understand that, but even so... Prosecutor Asogi? Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten? I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why you left such an important job? Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Visual's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Ultimus to be on mobile now. Oh no. Are you back, Stars? Are you back from the trenches of internets? Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry? The human spirit? On mobile? On mobile. Well, welcome back, Stars. Hopefully your phone, chills out as well, right? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't... Kazuma-sama. Bang. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Should I do it or not do it? What should I do here, Captain Chips? No idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that contradicts your version of events. So what did he say? I don't even remember what he even said. Which page is it on? Like, I truly do not remember what his words were. First page. Left side or right side? Would be nice if it was left, then we would have 3 guesses. Fudge. Harsh reprimand, photograph, candle, hairpiece. This maybe?
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Ah, well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as Chief Warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th of June, 10 years ago. Lurk. Hey, Mafia! Happy lurking. It's good to see you here. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June. Was that the professor's execution? Professor? As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict ostensibly executed earlier that day later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life? In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Delay Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago, and now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Yep. Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces of the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery at plot number 139, blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible has happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes, and I was suspected of doing it, of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it is all coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison, was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. You know, that guy? I'm sorry, Daddy, but this is a serious business, but I cannot help you know. As Chief Warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution before, eh? Well, it seems the fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life. It's over. Well, dead. Order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. Well.
So,
left freak out.
with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. So there's even more Case 4. Investigation Part 2. I still can't quite believe what just happened. I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned, and it seems Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover. Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret, not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep my mark, I wonder? Runo! Oh, Iris. You were miles away. Anyway, I brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you. Oh, thank you. You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh. Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When he came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared. Oh no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gregson's death. Well, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else. What does that mean? He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him. That's so true. Back on laptop. Ayo, that's good. Stars. Welcome back to the laptops. But that's what I like about Hurley. I suppose that's the lot of a great detective in some ways. So then, let's have tea, and I'll give you a hand. Oh, do you have some time, Iris? Yes, I've finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventure of Herlock Sholmes. You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline. You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation. Okay. So, how did it go in court this morning? Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened, but one thing's increasingly clear. Lord Van Zieks definitely didn't do it. Oh, goody. Yes, that's right. We managed to uncover several new facts as well. Oh, really? And there was another development too. Kazuma. Yes, it's quite clear now that Kazuma-sama is not himself. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed. I know. I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, it was like a bloodhound the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. He's not normally so mercilessly persistent. What's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Kazuma and try to understand what he's going through. If Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered, then Lord Van Zieks has to be innocent, you see. What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out. Just by examining the corpse, surely. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report. That is curious. There are still unanswered questions about Lord Van Zieks, though, aren't there? Do you mean... I mean, what was he doing there on Foreshno Street that day in the first place? Well, according to the man's testimony, he said he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he? And it turns out that little room was actually the inspector's secret office. Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot. But then why was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with a link to the Reaper. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about all this. Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late. I never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements. Well, according to the entry in his diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed League for the day before his death. Oh, you mean he was doing the same as Hurley? Well, Mr. Sholmes was trying to apply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating. I do wish it had been the other way around. Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification. You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my. Yes, you're absolutely right, Iris. But why would Gregson need an alibi? It would appear that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret. I don't believe it. I always thought he was just a harmless lover of fish and chips. But perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar. I think perhaps we should try to move away from food analogies. Well, anyway, if Lord Van Zieks felt the need to investigate Gregson, yes, I agree. We must try to find out what he knows. And finally... Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit Hurley yesterday? That's right, to ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband. Only Mr. Sholmes completely passed the buck to us. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to hospital? You know which one? Ah, it's St. Steiner's. Starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down. Just like in the Phoenix Wright game, yes, there's only one hospital. But that's amazing, Runo. You found the lady's husband already. Well, I suppose I have, by accident. And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was the chief warder at the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No! So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed. Sometimes I really don't want to grow up. There's more. For 10 years after that, while he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector. To impersonate Gregsy? But why? I have absolutely no idea. Ginny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Including you, Runo. I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me. That means he has ties to the professor and to Inspector Gregson, though. So I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you? Back to St. Steiner's, then. Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let us investigate, my dear fellows. Oh, Iris. You're even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, my special Wilson shooting iron will soon set them straight. That water pistol? It's stuffed full of piping hot extra special blend of mine. but I'm quite sure it will be very effective. I'd better be careful not to hide anything. Well, feels a little strange that Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen, but still, let's go and see what we can find out.
Yes!
So Iris is joining the crew this time. Yes, this is a good place to go right now. This is where all the secrets are. Alright. How about we'll just visit everywhere first? Every single place? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No arguments, Prosecutor Asogi. You will continue with the trial exactly as I instructed. Is that clear? Perfectly. It's Kazuma-sama. Defying Lord Strongheart by the sound of it. Never did know when to back down. On your way now, Asogi. My lord. Kazuma. Bye. He left without saying a word. Yes, what are you doing here? Oh, I was just hoping to ask you a few questions if you wouldn't mind. I wanted the Van Ziek's trial concluded today, but Prosecutor Asogi's unwelcome inquiries are going to make it take longer than necessary. Unwelcome inquiries? As a result, I'm losing even more precious time. Currently 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 41 seconds. 42, 43... Then we must resolve everything before 3 hours have passed, Mr. Naruhodo. Bye, Kazuma. Later. In a miraculous not even 5 minutes? Anyway, I can't let the man's obvious bad mood put me off. Need information. Give me some info. Does Prosecutor Asogi believe that Lord Van Zieks is the Reaper? I wouldn't know. It was 10 years ago, in that fateful close trial, that Lord Van Zieks made a name for himself among the judiciary. But the next trial he fought, he lost. It meant the ringleader of a criminal organization was acquitted, thanks to all the jurors being under duress. But that's awful! The man's freedom was short-lived. He lasted just 3 days. Yes, let me see. He died in a rockslide at his place of work, I believe. Correct. That was the inauguration of the Reaper of the Kbali. And people believe Lord Van Zieks was responsible? He was brought to trial himself, but it was shown to have been an accident. So he must have had a solid alibi then. Nevertheless, the mysterious deaths continue. In short, 16 persons perish in unusual circumstances, ostensibly at the hand of the Reaper. Whoa! Hey, Zero! Thank you for the raid. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. How was, Woo! That's what I want to say. Woohoo! How was your visual novel? Trails to Azure. You finished the chapter. Yay! 1 chapter down, 3,000 more to go. In total. People died? Oh no. Who this time? No one we know, right? Or just maybe for people we know. It's been a while since I played Azure. But yeah, I hope your day was good and your stream was good. That's a long run of coincidences. Well, the Reaper's true identity may well be revealed by this trial. And the impact that revelation would have on the British public cannot be understated. Is that why it's a closed trial? Precisely. Okay. This country hasn't seen a close trial for 10 years. So the last one was the Professors? The trial of Genshin Asogi? Genshin Impact Asogi? Correct. Actually, we heard that originally you were going to prosecute that trial yourself, Lord Strongheart. I don't know if Mafia Babe is still here, but this game has connections to Genshin Impact now with that guy's name. Ain't that crazy? Van Zieks entreated me to relinquish the prosecution to him, that he might avenge his brother's death. And here we are, 10 years later, with the son of the man Van Zieks is condemned, now looking to avenge his father's death in some way. They do say that what goes around comes around. However, it would seem that the new young prosecutor is harboring some ulterior motive as well. Kazuma is? I like my organization to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribe. As with the giant clock in here, I won't tolerate a single cog being out of step with the others. Ah, so that's what all these gears are about in here. If the young man refuses to mesh with the other parts of my great machine, I will be forced to take steps. What? What do you mean? Not something with which you need to concern yourself. In any case, all of your questions will be answered tomorrow. Okay. Now, I shall have to ask you to excuse me. As of this moment, I've been delayed from attending my next meeting by precisely 3 hours. Oh my, that is a long time. And I hold you entirely responsible, even though we miraculously managed to fit everything into even 5 minutes. I wonder if you might agree to us, talking with Prosecutor Asogi? Discussions between the defense and the prosecution outside of the courtroom are genuinely frowned upon. However, I will make an exception in this case. Now go. You can find him in his office. Oh, thank you. Wouldn't it be kind of bad to be late for a meeting for 3 hours, guys? Let's go see him at once, Mr. Naruhodo. Kazuma's my best friend in the world, but I'm really not at all sure I know how to talk to him at the moment. Would he be in trouble for missing it? For, like, missing his meeting for that long? Okay, that's where I am. Prison! There he is! Lord Van Zieks is reading. Look! Iris is back into that outfit. He doesn't seem like he wants visitors, does he? But he must have noticed that we're here, surely? We'll just clang on his bars, very annoyingly. What do you Nipponese want? That's no way to greet the lawyer who's trying his hardest to prove your innocence, is it? Perhaps not. I apologize. So, what can I do for you, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zieks, speaking earnestly. Oh, the fog will lift over London for the first time in months tomorrow. This does feel very, very strange. I do like his theme music, by the way. Very scary. Very intense. I must say, I was impressed. Oh? Well, thank you. Not by you, by your fellow Nipponese, your prosecutor friend. Oh, I see, yes. It's a sardonic, don't you think, for a man such as me, so loathing of the Nipponese, to be entirely at the mercy of the two of you. I suppose it's retribution for having played the part of the Reaper all these years. Played the part? Alright, I got some questions for you, mister. You once told me that you gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper, because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London. If keeping quiet and playing the part benefits the cause, a cause that I myself am committed to pursuing, then why would I choose to say anything? But the henchman of a criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. And that was just the most recent of many attempts in your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you. Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose him. Or rather, expose the organization. Ah, it's a whole organization? Organization 13? It's inconceivable that all those accidents were orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have very accurate information about the accused in each case, which can only mean that somebody at Scotland Yard is involved. Someone at... You can't mean... It's taken me many years, but I finally identified the essential figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson. No.
No!
Gregson? The Reaper? Uh-oh. So the reason you're investigating Inspector Gregson is because you intended to expose him as the Reaper? As I said, the Reaper of the Bailey is no single person. It's a highly secret organization with close ties to Scotland Yard. For there's no doubt that Gregson was a key member of that organization.
I don't believe it. Are you saying that that he was behind all those awful criminals meeting there?
Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself.
Oh!
He was the tactician. His job was to covertly investigate the marks and plot their assassinations. In order to do that without arousing suspicion, he regularly needed to affirm alibi. Which is where Mr. Vigil came in, posing as the inspector. Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street was almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings. So we don't actually know who carried out the killings then. Actually, I do have a name.
You what?
Well, if you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper already then. Or, if I can name the woman.
Oh.
She's a young woman by the name of Asa Shin. Wait,
What?
Shin? Oh no. Miss Asa Shin, the true name of a terrifying killer I know only too well. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Then, just when it seemed that diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan and conviction, the mysterious woman was herself murdered in a small summer beach hut. And that woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey?
Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't the place to discuss...
No, of course not. We can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson, because Iris doesn't know, and she's very likely that the man was her father.
Asa Shin, I should let Father know at once.
Yes, I agree.
Oh my gosh.
Kazuma, isn't it? Kazuma Asogi. You say he's a friend of yours?
My best friend. He's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him.
Yes, I understand that. Only the very best students are selected for such opportunities. And I have a fine demonstration of how sharp he is on the proceedings earlier today. He missed nothing. In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father.
Genshin Asogi, the professor.
It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics and economics and war. In many ways, Asogi was carving out a canker from society that we British couldn't deal with ourselves.
I see.
But that's precisely why it makes no sense. Clint Van Zeeks was a noble and upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why did that damn Nipponese have to go and take my brother's life? The plot thickens. Much thickening of the plot right now. In spite of having once saved mine. He saved your life? How did that happen? It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night. What was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital. So Clint Van Zieks had already been killed at this point then. Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point, I had no idea of the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden... Don't make a peep. You're coming with us. We were surrounded. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. Clint was not only from noble heritage, he was a brilliant prosecutor as well. The scum of London hated the sight of him, and they had no sympathy for his younger brother either. I've been targeted several times before already. Yeah, it's Van Zieks, right? We got him. I could hear them murmuring amongst themselves. I knew they were after me, but just when I thought my time had come... If I let them kill you, Clint would never forgive me. It was Asogi's voice, just a whisper in my ear. Bang! After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He'd shielded me. Two days later, they arrested him, on suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever, the Professor.
How awful for you.
All at once, I lost the brother I revered, and the foreign friend I held in such high regard. I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. That's the end of my miserable tale. I never thought I'd recount it to anyone. Well, thank you for confiding in me.
The Professor, the Reaper, and Inspector Gregson. I wonder just how intimately related they all are.
I still can't quite believe that Gregson was essentially the Reaper, giving assassination orders to Giselle Brett?
Mr. Naruhodo, let's go and inform my father. I'm sure our government will want to hear about this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie! Hooray!
Yes, alright. Let's head back to the Great Waterloo Hotel then. Crazy stuff, guys. Let's go to the street room and see if anyone's here. Some people are. I'm pretty sure no one that we should talk to. Yeah. Alright. To Mr. Vigil's hospital bed. Boom and boom. Oh, we have a lot of people to talk to, guys. Okay. Never mind. Hey, prosecutor, bro. So, this is the office of Prosecutor Asogi now, is it?
Kazuma-sama is doing so well for himself.
Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor Japanese style in that dark corner, it's a habit to sit Seiza style whenever he's working. Haha. Kazuma. I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Ryunosuke. I was right about what I said, wasn't I? Sorry? That you have all the makings of a great defense lawyer. Well, I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. I just never imagined for 1 second that it would be as a prosecutor.
Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom, so gallantly realizing your dream, Kazuma-sama, I'm truly happy for you.
And I am truly thankful to you, Judicial Assistant Mikotoba. Ryunosuke. I always thought it would be fun for you and I to shake up the British legal system a little together. This isn't quite how I envisioned it, but I suppose it's just another twist of fate. I've learned a lot of things during my time in London, about how Susato-san's father was himself a visiting student here once, alongside with Judge Jigoku, and about what happened with your father, and you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice, why I had to find a way to get to Britain as a visiting student myself. I want to hear it from you, Kazuma. As you wish, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Alright. I still can't believe he's alive still. Can I examine something real quick? I noticed this table here. What the? It's a scale model of the crime scene. Oh, yes, I realize that. Does the prosecution office make a model of the scene for every single case? Apparently so. Sometimes it helps to visualize things better and notice things you hadn't spotted before. Actually, the miniature notice board is my work. Be honest, you enjoyed making that. Okay, cool. It's getting on for a year now, since what happened on the SS Buria. We were heading across the oceans from Japan to Great Britain, when a bizarre series of coincidences led to those tragic events. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever. And we all thought we'd lose our sanity with that case. I must have been unconscious for a long time. When I awoke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posy of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize that I was in the cabin of a ship. I stepped out of the room and headed up onto the deck. You already suffering from amnesia at that point? Yes. I didn't know what had happened or where I was. There was just this voice in my head. Got something to do, something no one else can know about. Go to Great Britain. Your task awaits you there. It was calling, and I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship, and we were docked in a large port. It must have been Hong Kong. Yes, it must have been. Presumably just before they were due to carry your body off the ship. I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling that this was in some way my last chance. So I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. Then I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city so I could plan on my onward journey to Great Britain. Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost to me, I was left behind in Hong Kong. Everything was foreign to me. The sights, the sounds, the smells. My head reeled. I was truly at a loss. I realized now that I'd escaped as a dead man, with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money, of course. Oh, how terrifying for you. Luckily, though, I had 2 feathers in my cap. One being your knowledge of English, I suppose. That's right, and on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. Eventually, after calling at countless ports, I finally arrived at Dover. That must have been some 3 months ago now. Your formidable tenacity of purpose showing itself again. I mean, the man has lost his memory and had literally nothing to his name, but he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world. Of course, I had no idea why I'd moved heaven and earth to get here at that point. So, how did you end up becoming Lord Van Zeke's apprentice then? That can only be called an extraordinary stroke of luck, really. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. It took me straight to Scotland Yard, and by sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there to attend a meeting. That's when the second feather in my cap came to play. Would that have been your knowledge of the law? Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and assigned me to the prosecutor's office. And then, 9 days ago,
you finally got your memory back after a trial involving Drebber. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Ever since I first met you at Yume, you talked about your dream. Mark my words, Ryunosuke, I'll be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to Great Britain someday. Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here? 16 years ago. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together the day before his departure. It's my last memory of him, but what I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. So maybe he's not the killer person. Maybe he was framed or something. 6 years later, he left. A gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotoba, your father, Susato-san. Oh my! Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. He even helped to fund my university education at Yume. I'll be forever in his debt. But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd told me. Oh! Then one day, a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of the sender, so I opened it assuming it was from an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life. But what did it say? It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name. Oh no! As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years. Presumably, the letter was sent from a relative of one of the victims. If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at the close trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer. I'm so sorry you had to find out that way. I imagine the British government did its very best to silence whoever sent that letter. But someone who knew the truth and couldn't bear the resentment was always going to be a problem. But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing? There was a newspaper cutting included with the letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree. Well, what did my father have to say about the letter? I couldn't bring myself to show it to him. What? Why not? Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling me my father was taken by a fatal illness. It couldn't have been easy for him, and he'd done it out of consideration for my feelings. So instead, I showed the letter to Judge Jikoku. To the other visiting student. He faltered for the briefest of moments, but then he just laughed the letter off. But in that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief, and she too passed away. That sucks. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to Britain and seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin Asogi, and I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way. Oh, Kazuma-sama. Trial. We have what we learned today in court turned things completely on their head. It was an impressive piece of lawyering for Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, you know. I almost don't want to believe it myself, but it turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was... It's clear that the Inspector was behind the Reaper's activity all along. What? You mean you knew? The real question is, who's been giving orders to the Inspector? Yes, Barack Van Zieks is the real Reaper. And I know that the 10 years old, that 10 years old it was him, or 10 years ago, who decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave. No! He was merely seeing that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame. Ultimately, it's people who condemn people. The law is just a tool that they use to do it. And when a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain that my father would never have taken another man's life. Kazuma. On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper. What if it's someone else? What if someone said, "Execute Order 66"? Is there anything else I need to do here, guys? Anything to present or anything? Kazuma, what do you make of this? There's only one place where defense lawyers and prosecutors should discuss evidence. The courtroom. So it seems you're still confused by the situation.
Oh, give me a second. Okay.
Oh, that's what I make of it. I get the feeling my friend's always going to have the edge over me, isn't he?
The edge.
Go do a Topsy report? Oh, go do a Topsy? This came up in the trial, did it? Something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report. Thank you, Captain Chips. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the courtroom earlier. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite something. Well, considering what the pocket watch had stopped and the scorch marks on the candle, it's certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence and the scene both point to it. To be honest, it bothered me too. So I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner's responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gori. If it wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-sama, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too. Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery by Barclay Prison, you mean? Ah, you know it, don't you? Do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life. Kazuma-sama. Well, thank you. I'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Ryunosuke, I want to thank you. What for? For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi clan. Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. The only slight regret is that I never got the chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Karuma is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I came from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen. Well then, you're a chip off the old block, I'd say. This blade, Karuma, is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. Really? Karuma? It does sound formidable, that's for sure. 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had the sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now too. And that is all thanks to you. It was an honor. Hey, Esther dude, Von Karma ancestor. This guy? I think, I don't know. But how you doing today, Astro Dude? It's good to see ya. Now I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I have said a little too much. Kazuma, you've changed. No, Ryunosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed. Canonically, he's not. You've checked the apprentice, Manfred von Karma. The apprentice, Manfred and Franziska are Go and Mei Karuma? Who are they? Is that people in this game? Karuma.
Like, I forget things a lot. I don't know if that was a person in this game or not. Yeah, I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zieks given what happened. But the fact is, those events and this case are, well, unrelated. Is that what you'd want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you, mean? That's their Japanese names? Oh. I know Manfred and Franziska, but I didn't know their Japanese names. Never mind. That man is the Reaper, and it is for that reason that the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. I can't let you do that, Kazuma. I know you'll do what you have to do as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the courtroom. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow, then, in the Old Bailey. The Old Bailey. Alright. We're moving to... the forensics. Well, I haven't been... What was the one place we had to go? Forget it. Let's take this in order, huh? I know we gotta visit the one dude. Oh my gosh, what kind of room is this? Is that, What were those things called in, Assassin's Creed again? 'Cause it's here now. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. Plague doctors, that's it. That's a plague doctor thing in the background. But actually, there's a rather pleasant scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needed a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? Oh boy. Oh, what was that? Shink, shink, shink. Oh boy. Dr. Gory? Oh boy. What? That noise before. I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them. Right. But following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Wouldn't you like a demonstration? Oh, yes, please, I'd love to see. You like this girl already. Very gothic. Very dark. Then I think you'll do nicely. Huh? No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Tis. Was that a tut? Well, we came here to ask questions, so... Alright, no, let's not move. Let's talk. We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Dr. Scythe had some scruples at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us, for the time being anyway. For the time being? You mean until we die? Hope that's no way off. Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Tch. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. What do you guys? Present something, maybe? I'm a lawyer. Can I ask your opinion about this? Don't forget, you're responsible for putting my mama in jail. Why should I help you? Alright. I don't know what to do, so... press everything, or present everything. We're here for the autopsy report. I don't know these things. Oh, God.
Dr. Gory, we actually came here to ask you about this. He was very good. Good? Sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once, and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. What? We can skip those details. But there is one thing about the report that caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. Oh, well, now we see her face finally. That's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. Then please, tell us what happened.
She reminds me of that one person from that one thing. Doesn't that face remind you of a different face from somewhere? I don't know what I'm saying. So, why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death, then? It's really the most crucial detail.
Well, I was told not to write it.
What? By whom?
Mal Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here.
Lord Strongheart came?
He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and from the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it?
Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go to the same way as your mother. Can I see your first name? Is it a pun on something? Maria Gory. Okay.
Give it here, then.
She looks a little like anyone. It's the doctor from Persona 5. Who was the doctor again? God, my memory's shite. What's she scribbling so furiously?
There.
You've written...
What? What's she written? Tell us.
Indeterminate. Whatever that means.
But...
Black hair, goth, fishnecks, etc. I'll have to look at the game again. I don't remember.
What do you mean by that? Well, why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard.
Can't be determined.
That's what that means. But there was only one small discrepancy.
What discrepancy?
There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat, and that fish had started to rot.
What?
If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off.
Well, yes. What are you really trying to say?
It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death.
Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do?
Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot.
Rest in peace, his fish guys.
With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not.
But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems.
But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator, and I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory, or some other special places? I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Freshno Street, though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been? I couldn't say for sure. But at the most, it might have been a day earlier.
No. In other words,
it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location.
Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility?
He simply said that there was no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity.
Correction, not determined, not necessarily, can't be? I might need an extended definition then. Not determined, not necessarily, can't be. I don't know what that means, sorry. I need, like, a big example.
If you don't mind, then.
Sorry. She's gone.
She's gone back to sharpening her blades. Not now, or my baby here might start to rust. I think perhaps we'd better leave Dr. Gory alone. Maybe we could try again later if we manage to find some more clues.
How long until she's the murderer, guys? Okay, where to go now, fellers? Not here. I'm just gonna go everywhere again. In short, indeterminate means for reasons we have not figured it out. Alright, that one makes sense. See? Little words, guys. Little short words that a kindergartner can understand. That's the words that I need more of. Here we go. Have we been everywhere? Nope. We have not been here yet.
I thought it yesterday, and I think it again today. This place is so princely. It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow, too. My tea is a finer fragrance than whenever they're serving in the tea room here, though, wouldn't you say?
Ah, look who we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure.
Hello! Ah, Father! Oh, is this your daddy, Susie? How lovely!
What a charming young lady. And you are?
Iris Bobiris.
Ah, really? So you're the author of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, are you? You're the daughter of the one guy that was killed.
That's me. I'm Iris Wilson, at your service, sir. Susie's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know?
Well, Miss Wilson, I must say I read your work regularly and with much interest.
Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, Father.
Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explaining that bright look in your eyes.
Hee hee.
You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me. Now then, young Naruhodo, it was a pleasure seeing you in action earlier. As an invitee of the symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery, after I twisted some arms, and I must say it was a truly exemplary performance.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you omitted by Kazuma on the end there.
No, please don't misunderstand. It was you who impressed me.
Really?
You didn't miss a step against Asogi, and we all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary.
It's very kind of you to say so, and really nice to hear.
What I saw in court today confirmed what I'd been hoping for. The favor I mentioned yesterday, Naruhodo, I trust you haven't forgotten?
Oh, no, you did mention something, didn't you? But first, you have something to report, Father.
Of course. Shall we take tea while we discuss matters further? I wonder where Judge Jigoku has gone to.
He's out. Father, do you know about the so-called Reaper of the Bailey?
I've heard rumors. Some members of the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Hey Hedgewolf, the stream just stopped for you, and the same for everyone, or is it just me? Is everyone good? Roll call, everyone, roll call. Is everyone here? Say I, or say me, or say something. You're back! Welcome back, Hedgewolf. How you doing? It's good to see you here. Alright, Captain Chips is here. Alright, no need for a roll call now. I just needed one person. Didn't stop for you either. Gotta love the internets, guys. Hedgewolf's been lurking. Nice. Hope you've been getting stuff done. Of course, when I was visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge. How's Hollow Knight treating you, by the way? Oh, you're lurking still. Okay. But, I hope it's going good still. Right, he didn't appear until after the case when the visiting student had already returned home. Lord Van Zeeks, who was in the dock today, that was Barak, the younger brother of Clint Van Zeeks, I believe.
That's right, and he's known throughout London as the Reaper, as you heard. But the truth is, it wasn't him behind all those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else.
I see. So what you're saying is there's been a professional killer at work here?
Exactly. Someone by the name of Asa Shin, in fact.
I beg your pardon?
Did you say Asa Shin? You mean that Giselle Brett woman who was responsible for killing my great friend? Oh no! A friend of yours was killed?
Uh-oh.
Professor Mikotoba, I think perhaps we shouldn't discuss this right now.
Because this friend the professor is talking about is Dr. John H. Wilson.
And that's not someone we want Iris to find out about.
Not like this, anyway.
Okay, dodged a bullet there. I just remembered something. Biscuits! This hotel has the most delicious looking biscuits!
That was rather out of the blue.
You're doing this deliberately. I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come too, Iris? Oh yes! You just try to leave me behind.
So the young girl is called Iris Wilson, is she?
Yes, that's right.
And she's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great Detective Sholmes. But the name of the credited author isn't Iris, isn't it? It's Dr. John H. Wilson.
Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see.
Her father? Dr. John H. Wilson.
I was deeply indebted to the man for all the kindness he showed me during my time in London. So I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to the Imperial Yume University 4 years ago. But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why? Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knew nothing about that case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father.
Well, I can't say that we ever spoke about his family, so I don't know if he had a daughter or not, but I think I can say with some certainty that he was never the great detective's partner.
So, it could have been another Dr. Wilson, you think?
Well, John and Wilson are both common names after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this to the young lady until we can be sure.
That's what we thought, yes. We're back with cinnamon biscuits! Oh, they smell delicious, Iris. I think cinnamon will go very well with the tea they serve here, don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris.
Alright. Where's the judge?
I haven't seen Judge Jikoku for a while, have you?
Guilty. Ha 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 ha.
But that guilty is still ringing in my ears.
No, now that you mention it, I haven't seen him since this morning either.
Suppose since the symposium's opening was postponed, he'll have gone to explore the great exhibition. That reminds me of something you mentioned yesterday. About Judge Jigoku having once been in the dock himself?
Ah, yes, it was all tied up with that accursed trial. The closed trial of Kazuma's father. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify, but he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness stand.
Oh my!
He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Oh dear. Although it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing that. Well, it was all alright in the end. He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan together.
Thank goodness.
Ah, yes, talking of Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we all took together here yesterday. Please.
Ah. Oh, what a lovely picture. It certainly seems to shout we've arrived in Britain. None of us had any idea what was coming when we took that, did we? Okay, just making sure. There's something there. It's him! He's the murderer! No, that's so true. That would be a twist, huh? If the judge was the killer person. So you mentioned a favor that you'd like to ask me. There was a judge killer, but yeah. Well, or a judge that was a killer as well in a game already, though. Well, this fateful trial that you're fighting, one way or another, it will be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany me back to Japan. Want me to do what? Father, what is the meaning of this? Now, Susato, you should understand. You've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is in its infancy, especially when it comes to defense. Oh, you mean? The Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense lawyer. As soon as possible, really quite urgently, in fact. But, I've not even been in London a year yet. I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. And having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruhodo, are precisely the man our country needs. There was, which, in the fifth game, the third case, Professor Aristotle Means was his name. He's kind of a judge? Teacher judge person, kind of. So, you'd be leaving then, Runo? But then, what am I supposed to do, Father? You came here to serve as Asogi's judicial assistant. Oh yes, she's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant. Our government is still in the process of deciding how best to deal with his situation, though. You're always chosen your own path, Susato, and I trust your judgment. In this matter also. Father! Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion, you understand. I'll hope if I'm honest, but I won't force you. All I ask is that you consider it, and come to a decision by the time this trial concludes. Yes, all right. You won't leave, will you, Runo? The thought hadn't crossed my mind. Up until now, I've just been trying to do what I believe to be Kazuma's will. But it turns out that he's still alive, so where does that leave me? Well, if you'll excuse me now, I need to telegram government ministers and the Japanese police with this information about Asa Shin. Of course, Father. Thank you. I look forward to next month's installment, Miss Wilson. Oh, good, and please do come to Baker Street sometime, won't you? We'd love to entertain you. I would be delighted. Best of luck for tomorrow, Naruhodo. And given my suggestion your full consideration, won't you? Yes, I will. Going back home? I thought about it, and no. Means taught the course for defense attorneys and was one himself. Oh, really? He looks like a judge, though, with his massive beard and stuff. He took the wrong class. You know, Kazuma-sama has always been meant a great deal to my father. I'm sure he'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this. Yes, no doubt. Asa Shin. Of course, it's so obvious. How could I have neglected to consider the possibility before now? Mr. Sholmes! Hurley, where have you been? Why, I joined you all for tea, of course. What an extraordinary question. I didn't notice you at all. No matter, no matter. Anyway, to more pressing concerns, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes?
Oh god, you just got the pun? What? What pun?
I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It is a matter of much urgency. To Japan, you mean?
Assassin, good grief. Assassin. Very nice. I just got it too. I thought it meant like a pun that was like Asian or something. Because she was in Japan or something. I don't know. But I gotcha.
Tell me, to whom I can entrust the task. Quickly now, who? Ah, well... My father has just now left to send a telegram to the Imperial Police Bureau of Japan himself. I see. Well, he looked reliable enough for a bearded fellow.
That's what you thought of at first, but she was sent to Japan to kill the doctor, so...
I guess so. Wow. I don't think what father sports could be considered a beard, Mr. Sholmes. There's not a moment to lose. Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to send this... to see this is sent. I will, but... what is it? No questions at this time, if you please, Miss Susato. All we can do is pray that, for once, my deduction is awry. Doesn't that imply that your deductions are normally correct, Mr. Sholmes? Which isn't exactly... Now then. You may be surprised to learn that I am a very busy man. I certainly have no time to hide behind cities and eavesdrop on other people's conversations. So that's what joining up for tea meant. I leave the sending of this in your hands then, my dear fellows.
Ah, wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes.
He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace, and left the unpaid bill for his tea behind too.
That was the plan.
I must catch up with father at the telegraph office at once. And I'll run and call us a cab straight away. And there was me thinking everyone would be clamoring to pay Mr. Sholmes' bill. Okay, the question is, where the heck am I going to now? Here maybe? Have we seen Dr. or Mr. Person yet? I take it no. This is the ward where Mr. Visual was brought, apparently. To be frank, I'm a little worried about seeing him again. Ah, the lawyer. Hello again. Are you feeling better now, Mr. Visual? Yes, thank you. Somewhat better. I'm so sorry to have caused you to... I mean, it was because of me. If I hadn't exposed your secret and forced you to remember things you'd obviously tried to forget... If this were the future Phoenix Wright games, he would have had black psyche locks, I bet. The prosecutor was here up until a few moments ago, too. You just missed him. Oh, Kazuma beat us to it. He said much the same as you. He was very apologetic. But the truth is, I brought all this upon myself. Please, don't think like that. Keeping it from Evie, my wife, all these years, I've carried such a sense of guilt. But that's not the worst of it. Over time, I obviously came to deceive myself as well. You mean about your dismissal? Looking back now, I'm beginning to think that perhaps Inspector Gregson didn't stumble across me by accident at all. I mean, he compensated me so generously for acting as a stand-in. He was clearly concerned for my well-being and doing what he could to help. So perhaps Gregson knew exactly what had become of Mr. Visual all along then. I'm sure this is just deserts for 10 years of lies and deception, but hey, Blue Thunder, how you doing today? Welcome again. Good to see you here. It wasn't me that helped the professor escape 10 years ago. It wasn't me. I swear it. I swear it's true. Oh, Mr. Visual. I'm sure you'd rather not dredge up even more from your past at this time, but, if possible, could you tell us exactly what really happened? I I want to. I need to get all this off my chest. I just want someone to tell me what I should be, what I should have done.
Oh, you should have gotten your crap together.
I'm doing good, Blue Thunder. Glad your day was well as well. It's almost the weekend again, Blue Thunder. Woo! Inspector Gregson was obviously engaged in a special operation of some sort. He was investigating something that even Scotland Yard couldn't know about. Details of the Reaper's marks, yes. It was when he had to carry out these investigations that I would take his identification and impersonate him. He'd pretend to be the inspector and carry out investigations on his behalf. Oh no, never. A common street peddler couldn't possibly carry out a proper police investigation. All I would do is go to the specified location and make a little hoo-ha. Just something to leave an impression so everyone here would think a detective called Gregson was here.
This guy's working on his JoJo poses as well, I see.
So, that's what you were doing on the day prior to the incident? Yes, he asked me to make an appearance at the park on Lime Street for the Red-Headed League event. So as usual, I flashed the inspector's identification around and was very vocal about my presence. But then you were taken prisoner by those red-headed fraudsters. Yes. So, you would always make a point of showing Gregson's identification and generally being loud. That's what the inspector asked me to do. Yes. Well, that's one way of becoming a legendary detective, I suppose. Not a good one, though. And as you know, I suffered this bruising around my neck at their hands. But the following day, they kept their word and released me, without returning the inspector's identification to you, however. We had arranged to meet in the Fresh Nose Street Room at 5 at that day, so I could report back to the inspector. But at the agreed time, that's when I heard the gunshot. It was at midnight on the 17th of June 10 years ago. That was the time scheduled for the execution, but the professor's execution never actually took place, did it? Or rather, the execution itself must have been used to effect the plan of escape. I hardly dare to imagine what a chilling plan it was. Barclay was renowned for being the highest security prison in the country. Everything they went in or out of the place was searched multiple times. But there was one notable exception. Or rather, one notable loophole, something that was never questioned. I have a feeling I know what that loophole was now. The coffins into which the bodies of the executed convicts were placed, correct? Yes. Once the coroner had confirmed the death of a condemned convict, the body was taken in its coffin for immediate burial in Lowgate Cemetery, just behind the prison. The chief warder first had to sign the necessary papers. And after that, no members of staff were permitted to touch the coffin containing the body again. When executions took place, only the executioner and the coroner were permitted inside the chamber. I would wait in the adjacent room for word that the condemned convict was dead. On that occasion, once I had the confirmation, I went into the mortuary to find a lone coffin, as usual. The procedure was that I would sign the paperwork having checked the coffin, and then nail it shut. But for some reason that day, the coffin was already nailed shut. No! I didn't think anything of it at the time. I assumed that my deputy must have checked the coffin and nailed it shut before I arrived. So, you mean the coffin contained... Yes, I can only imagine that Asogi, having escaped his execution somehow, was alive inside the coffin. The coffin was then taken out through the main gates and deposited in Lowgate Cemetery. Presumably there would have been enough air inside to breathe for long, so in the early hours following the burial, somebody dug up the coffin again to set Genshin free. But in the end, he was fatally shot in the graveyard anyway. What on earth really happened in Lowgate Cemetery that night, I wonder? I'm afraid I really don't know. All I can say with certainty are two things. Asogi couldn't possibly have escaped that way without help from somebody working within the prison. And that somebody was not me.
Okay.
Obviously, you knew the man then? The professor, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Yes, I remember him well. In fact, would you mind telling me about what you know? Well, having been condemned to death as he was, any contact I had with the man was short, obviously. And after that trial, which was carried out behind closed doors, attended only by the elite members of the judiciary, they called for his execution to be carried out at the earliest possible opportunity. The outcome of the trial was set from the beginning, wasn't it? It was a time of delicate diplomacy, where Britain and Japan were in the process of signing an important treaty. That meant that this potentially destabilizing case had to be dealt with swiftly and discreetly. The man had less than a week in total. As I was chief warder, I oversaw his short stay in the cells until his final hour. I remember being struck deeply by his noble character and incredible resilience. What do you mean exactly? He was a killer of many men, but he was always quiet and polite. He was a gentleman and a man of an intellect. In fact, I couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd done, so I asked him one day. Those 5 members of the aristocracy whose lives were taken, were you really responsible? I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human's life, yes. The following day, the closed trial took place, and the verdict was no surprise: guilty. That night, when he was brought back to his cell, I saw something unusual. Something unusual? What? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi.
Oh.
As I said, it was on the night following his trial, after he'd been found guilty. I was doing the rounds of the cells, and when I looked into Asogi's, I noticed that he seemed to have a sheet of paper in his hand.
Ah, his last will and testament then, presumably.
As soon as he noticed me, he hurriedly shoved it behind his back. But why did you find that so unusual? Isn't it normal for a man to pen a will when he knows his death is nigh? Yes, that's true, but there were special conditions to Asogi's incarceration, you see?
What sort of conditions?
Well, even though he was held in a cell designed for condemned inmates, he was allowed to keep his personal effects with him, with one exception.
Really? He was allowed his things? That is unusual, certainly.
Of course, he'd been convicted of killing 5 members of the aristocracy, but at the same time, he was a guest in our country from the Empire of Japan. The powers that be were determined that his final days shouldn't be needlessly uncomfortable.
And what was the exception you mentioned to the personal effects he was allowed?
That's the point. He wasn't permitted to have writing materials, specifically no pens or paper.
So, he was prevented from leaving any written record of what happened to him?
Yes. That was the long and short of it. I've no idea where he obtained that paper. Any writing materials would have been confiscated from him upon his incarceration. As I said, he's hid the paper behind his back, and then he pleaded with me. What did you just hide behind your back?
Please turn a blind eye. This is my lifeline.
But you know it's against the rules.
Rules schmools. You're the only person who's seen. If you just agree to keep quiet.
Alright then, but what's on that paper?
A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now.
How can a will be a weapon? I decided to pretend I'd seen nothing and let him keep his will. But then later, it just seemed to vanish without trace.
What?
What do you mean? It vanished. It would seem that isn't the end of the story of this mysterious will.
Oh man.
I was the only person who saw Asogi's will, but somehow it disappeared. It was after Asogi's execution, which was actually just an elaborate jailbreak. The warders gathered up Asogi's possessions that were in his cell. They were all to be sent back to his family home in Japan, you see. To poor Kazuma-sama. I can't wait till your next show comes on, because it comes on every Thursday. After Wrestling, Faith, Stay Night, and Limited Works anime.
I know that series. I saw that one, Blue Thunder. That's a good one. I hope you like it.
Are you saying that it wasn't anywhere to be found among his personal effects?
The will, I mean.
That's right, though I didn't search through them myself. But Governor Caden was livid. He was screaming,
Can I have disappeared completely?
That doesn't quite make sense, though, does it?
In what way?
Well, we'd understand that only Mr. Vigil was aware of the will's existence. In which case, how did the prison governor know to look for it?
Oh yes, you're right.
I really don't know how he knew, but it certainly seemed as though he knew of the will's existence from the outset.
You like it? That's good.
Only he didn't refer to it as a will. What he said was... the Asogi Papers.
The Asogi Papers?
I really can't tell you anything of the subsequent events. Because, well, of what happened.
Your dismissal, and the way you blocked it all from your memory.
I'd forgotten all this until today. I don't suppose it's relevant to the case, though.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for sharing it with us, Mr. Vigil. We're very grateful.
I'm afraid there's really little more I can tell you. My wife Evie will be here shortly, so I do hope I don't appear rude, but...
F off.
No, not at all. Thank you again. What will become of you now? Well, impersonating a police officer is a criminal offense, of course. I imagine that once I'm fully recovered, I shall be arrested.
Well,
I'm so sorry. Don't be, please. This was all my own doing. I always knew that this day would come. Well, I wish you well. Goodbye, Mr. Vigil. Ah! Before you go, there's just one thing.
Oh, yes? What is it?
The Asogi Papers. I'd be very grateful if you'd make no mention of the things I told you about them. Presumably for some good reason? It's my understanding that their very existence is a closely guarded secret. If it became known that I'd remembered, well, it could be rather troublesome, I think.
I understand.
Some sort of will that Genshin Asogi penned just before his death, which the man himself claimed was his last weapon. I wonder, perhaps it has something to do with his plan to escape. If there's anyone who might know more about the document that Kazuma's father left behind, it would be Mr. Vigil's governor! Then we know precisely where we must go, back to Barclay Prison.
Alright, let's move. Barclay Prison. Is that this? I think we've reached the end, guys. Oh, back again, are you? I forgot to tell you guys what I did today, by the way. I was at a college graduation thing today. I want to give a big congratulations to a good friend of mine, Anna, for graduating college on this day. So, yay! She got like a big thing too, my friend. I forgot what it was, but she had like good honors. But yep, that was today's. It was at a big area. It was cool. And I got some food there. And I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to stream tonight because of it, but I'm glad I went. But yep, that's where I was, and I just wanted to shout that out real quick. But thanks for coming, guys. Have a good night. I'll see all of you tomorrow for maybe, hopefully, the ending of Lunar. So yeah, be well, everyone. Love you all. You're the bestest, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!